Good morning, friends. It is 10 a.m. for Central Time, which is 9 a.m. for Mountain. And we are ready to color. So, today's going to be a packed day, so I'm going to go ahead and get to it. And if you're watching the replay, just comment hey and where you're from. Let me tag a couple of people since we're here. I like to tag the design team. So that is what I'm doing right now. Except for I know a couple of them are at work, so, you know, that's just how things happen. Hi. Hey, Chris. Hey, Basti. Okay, so today we're going to be coloring the Oak Fairy, and I made a decision on this because I like to make stamp sets into things that they're not. So the Oak Fairy is meant to be a fall stamp set, but we're gonna change her up a little bit. So don't you worry about that. So this is the Oak Fairy stamp set. And there are dies available as well. You can tell I haven't used her for a while because I haven't even put my die stickers on there yet. My magnetic stickers. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. But this is the main image. And then, of course, these are meant to be for fall. And I don't want to make a fall card. I want to make a spring card. So I got my magic... why can't I not even think of the name of the stamp set? Obviously, I need more coffee. You Are Magical or You Are Magic. So this is the stamp set that I chose for the sentiment because I want to use this sentiment. It says, "You cannot tame the spirit of one who has magic in their veins." And I thought it would go really cool with the fairy. And I thought that it would be a great like springtime sentiment. Just the fonts and everything look really cool to me. So that's what I'm going to do. This is a slimline card base. So it's basically, this is an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper that I cut to 8.5 by 7 and then folded it in half. So now it is 8.5 by 3.5. So that's our slimline. And this is the old Sweet Sentiment craft paper. I have a couple of pieces left, so I figured I would just use it for card bases. This is going to be my matting piece, so it's an 1/8 of an inch smaller all the way around. And the thing that I'm going to do to it to mat it is I have Gathered Twigs Distress ink, and I have my Gathered Twigs brush. And I am just going to go around and distress the outside of it. Very simply, very quickly. I cut all of my paper to be an 1/8 of an inch smaller, so I don't need to really make a big production of distressing the edge of this. Sandy is tagging all the people who requested to be tagged. But if you are on right now and you want Facebook notifications, there's 3 little dots up in the corner up here. And if you click on those 3 little dots, you can actually edit your notifications to be notified when someone goes live in this group. So we would love for you guys to click on those notifications and have a notification set up. Because if Sandy or I tag too many people, Facebook makes it so that we can't comment. So that's a big bummer. And I'm going to take my chamois, since it's already damp, and I'm going to wipe off that ink. Okay, so now we have our oak fairy. So we're going to color her to be a little bit more springtime-ish. So I'm going to start with her skin. I want her to be very fair-skinned because in the spring she's coming out of winter, and we all know we're super pale when we come out of winter. So I'm going to pull a classic Caucasian skin blend. Okay, so I have E000, E00, E21, E11, and E04. Woohoo! Good job, Chris. Hey, Holly. Hello. All right, so I'm going to zoom in a little bit for y'all. And we're going to get to work. Okay. So I'm going to start down here with her arms. And she doesn't have a lot of skin exposed, so I'm just going to go ahead and color all of her skin at the same time. And you guys will notice on these lives, I color considerably faster than what I do when I'm teaching. Because I really, when I'm in a class and teaching, I really break everything down piece by piece. And when I am coloring on the lives, it's not really meant to be instructional per se. I'll answer any questions or anything like that. But it's more meant to be, you know, conversational. Okay. So did you guys have fun at Sandy's live last night? I did. I actually stayed up and watched Sandy's live. Are you guys so proud of me? And then I didn't sleep. Oh my God, it took me forever. I didn't fall asleep till like 1:30 this morning. And it was a very fitful sleep. It was not good. I forget that my markers are super juicy right now because Sandy filled them all for me. They're all filled and clean. Oh my gosh, really? That's not good. Because we have too many things on our brains right now. That's why. So, just put in the shadows with my E04. Now I'm going to move to my E11. And I'm going to push these shadows back. What's everyone doing? You guys are being really quiet. We are gearing up for... Hi, Hi, Becky. We are gearing up for our first show, which is in Pleasanton, California. We will be there the first weekend of March. As you guys notice, I've been on the Facebook page giving away tickets to the expos. When you enter to win, the tickets are for any expo. So don't think that it's like just for the next upcoming one. It's for literally any expo. So please enter to win. Right now, the contest is to set alarms on your phones for the Sandy and I's lives. So it's a very easy contest to enter. All you do is set an alarm on your phone for 10 a.m. and 10 p.m. Central Time, and then post a screenshot that you have done so. Not too hard. Good morning, Deanna. Hello, friend. I sure miss you. I don't like your work schedule. I never get to talk to you anymore. Yes, it is for an expo. Any expo you want it to be. An expo near you. All right. And then I'm going to take a little bit of R20 and I'm going to add some R20 to her cheeks just to give her a little blush. There we go. So, what color of hair would you guys like her to have? Yes, Amy. Yes, yes, yes. We're going to every Stampin' Scrapbook Expo this season. So, if there is one near you, we will be there. So, hair color. Who has a suggestion for hair? Teal, that is not going to go with what I'm doing. Oh my gosh, you guys in your crazy color hair. I could do green. Green would go with what I'm doing. Oh my gosh, y'all are killing me, Smalls. All right. All right. All right. The masses have spoken. Purple it is. BV29. No, y'all want a purple hair, so you're getting purple hair. It's just how this is going to roll. I'm just going to do more of a muted purple. BB17. BB13. Where do I want to go? I guess I'll go 02 and 01 is pretty pink, so I think I'm going to do BV 31. Yay, purple! So there's my color blend. This is a very blue purple, a very like dusty purple. All right, so you guys know my love for BV29. It's one of my most favorite markers ever. It's probably my most favorite marker to use. And we're gonna come in here and add shadow to her hair. You guys, I'm sorry, there's like a really bad glare. Is that better? This will be magical. It is going to be magical. 'Cause she's a fairy. Awesome, Carla. I love that you asked that question. So, Copic markers have a core inside of them. And that core has a certain amount of pressure in it. And so, and I'm not talking pressure like, you know, I don't know, like spray paint, accelerated pressure. There's just a certain amount of pressure inside that core. So if I take only one cap off and I leave the other cap on the other end, all of the ink is going to go to the point of least resistance, meaning it's all going to come running out this end. And I'm not going to have any control over the ink flow. So if I take one cap off, all that ink is going to go flowing towards that one end, and I'm going to get a big blob on my coloring, an ink blob on my coloring. And I don't want an ink blob on my coloring. So I take both caps off to prevent that from happening. So when you take that second cap off, it equalizes the pressure because air can get into both ends of your marker. And so it equalizes that pressure, and then you have more control over where your ink is going. So always, always, always color with both caps off. The other thing is, if you do get blobs on your coloring, you might have super warm hands. So the ink inside is just like any other liquid. As it heats up, the molecules heat up and they start moving. And the more they heat up, the faster they move. And if your marker is super full, there's nowhere for them to go. So they, again, will come running out the end. And yes, Sandy just filled all my markers, so they're super juicy. And so if you do have hot hands, I suggest putting a cool towel or an ice pack or something on your desk, or setting your marker down for a second while you're coloring if you notice the tip starts to get really juicy. But that's a great question. Always take both caps off when you color. Who knows my two favorite things to color? Carla, it could be. It could very well be. It gets really frustrating when you get big blobs in your coloring. And when you don't have control of your ink. Also, know that these are brush markers, so you kind of got to treat them like a paintbrush. And notice I don't leave the nib of my marker on the paper. I'm always using small brush strokes and brushing the color in. You got one of them, Deanna. Hair is definitely one of them. I wouldn't say holes in jeans are my favorite thing to color. They are I do color them. They're a signature, but they're not like my favorite thing to color. Notice I rotate my paper a lot to keep my wrist in a neutral position. Okay, so there's the shadow in her hair, and I'm actually going to come down and make this a shadow too, just for more depth. You don't have to, but you know me, I like to be extra. Not rainbows, not eyes, not skin. Come on, you guys know this. I know you know this. Think back. Those of you that have been with me forever, think back. I wonder if Sandy can guess it. I'm pretty sure Sandy can guess it. What am I talking about? Sandy knows. There's two things that I always say are my favorite things to color. One is hair. Nope, not fur. Nope, not flowers. Now this is also a super dark color, so I'm going to use it pretty sparingly, but I'm definitely going to use it to add texture. And I'm going to color her hair as if her wings aren't even there, because I like to think of fairy wings as transparent. Always remember when you're coloring hair to go with the direction that the hair is flowing or that the hair would grow. Somebody's going to come up with it. Ruffles, pleats. Yes, that's right. I love coloring pleats, like tutus and like her dress. Figuring out that puzzle really is cathartic for me, and I just love doing it. Ruffles have ridges. Do you remember those commercials? There it is. Oh yes, the dresses. Yes. The answer was right in front of you the whole time. I also love coloring like just mythical creatures. So like Sandy's little ice cream monsters, those are so fun for me to color, the ones that she colored last night. Because they're not real, you know, they're little monsters. And so like this fairy, like she's not real. So there's nothing that dictates, you know, what I have to do coloring her wise. There's no limit to the imagination. So fairy with purple hair, why not? Oak fairy in the spring, again, why not? So mermaids, love coloring mermaids. Dragons, anything mythical really is my jam. Now, today apparently my coffee is using its powers for good, because I can do my brush strokes both towards me and away from me, and that's always a helpful thing. If you cannot, again, just turn your paper more. That's all you gotta do. Just keep rotating that paper. And if you're concerned that my brush strokes are smaller than the brush strokes that you are able to achieve, know that number one, I just went out of the lines. So there's that. But number 2, know that it's just practice. Familiarity with your medium. So spend the time practicing. And in order to get really good at hair brush strokes, color lots of flowers. I know that sounds counterintuitive, but really, if you color a ton of flowers, you will get used to the motion it takes to color hair. And it will make coloring the tight spots in the hair that much easier. Y'all got super quiet again. Okay, so while I'm finishing her hair, what color would you guys like her dress? I was thinking pink. I know, right? I love the late night lives too, even though I have to stay awake. Actually, I'm usually always awake at that time anyways. I just don't have my phone with me because I try to not be on the phone before bed so that my mind can turn off. So that's why I had such a problem falling asleep last night, I think, because the blue light scenario really messes with my eyes and my brain. All right, guys. There is her hair. Becky says pink. I know, where's all our pink girls? Where's Lee? All right. So I'm going to refer to my hex chart because I want to choose kind of like a soft pink. I'm going to go kind of, I know, right? Where is Lee? I want to do kind of soft colors. So I'm going to start with RV34. My coffee cup's in the way, so don't mind me and my coffee cup. Then I'm going to go R83, if I can find it. Thank you, Carla. Then I'm going to go R81. So again, a real soft kind of bubblegum pink. RV52 is one of my favorites. And then I'm going to throw a monkey wrench in there. Actually, I'll go RV10. Where is it? There it is. Okay. And then I'm going to have my colorless blender handy. Okay, are you guys ready? Pink dress. Here we go. Purple hair, pink dress. She is all girly, but it's going to go really great with the green leaves that I'm wanting to do. So, sometimes I color this specific piece right here as her back, like skin, and sometimes I color it as her dress. So it can definitely go either way. Lee's probably sleeping. It's funny, Cameron always asks for rainbows, and then she's not here when I color rainbows. And then, Deanna, just take a screenshot, honey. Anyways, so Cameron's always asking for rainbows, and she's never here when we color rainbows. And Lee is always asking for pink, and she's never here when we color pink. Coincidence? I think not. Okay, so I'm just adding shadow along these artist-drawn lines. And away from the direction that I think the sun would be coming from. So usually they're facing the sun, so that's why I have all the shadows on this side. Okay. Now we're going to come down here. Ooh, did you hear my stomach growl? That's crazy. I did eat breakfast, I promise. Oh, just go to comments, and then there's like a little button that you push that's a picture. It's like a little, it looks like a little picture. Again, if you guys want to get notified of our live videos, you can. There's a contest right now where you can set an alarm on your phone for 10 a.m. and 10 p.m. Central Time. That's when we do our lives. And when you set that alarm, take a screenshot, which is what Deanna is talking about, and post it in the comments of the post that I put up about that. And then, if you want Facebook notifications, you can, at the top of this post right now while I'm live, like up here, there should be 3 little dots, depending on what platform you're on. I know on Apple there's 3 little dots there. And, you click on the 3 little dots and you edit your notifications and tell it that you want notified when someone goes live in the group. The only people who go live generally are Sandy and I, unless it's something that is pre-approved. Tyler will go live sometimes to do his Floral Friday classes. And those are going to be so fun because he's going to teach you how to put together all of our florals and different fun things to do with them. Hopefully, wow, I didn't realize I'm not on the screen. Stealth and shared. Thanks, Julie. Julie's on stealth mode because hers working. Okay, so there's our pink shadow. Our 8-3. You're welcome, Deanna. We're here to help, babe. I'm so excited. I get to go to Arizona and see you and Amanda and Christina and hopefully Jill. Somebody should tag Jill. She might be sleeping though too. I apologize if you guys can hear my stomach growling. Can you post a screenshot in this chat? All right, I'll let y'all work that out between the two of you. Because I lost track of what you guys were talking about. So I'm just following the shape of her body with these brush strokes. Being sure to leave shadow underneath the leaves. And blending out where the shadow is in relationship to our light source. But again, one of the coolest things about coloring mythical creatures is you could say, I know I have multiple light sources. She's on a planet that has multiple suns. Or these leaves are pearlescent and mirrored, and so they're refracting all of the sun rays. So neener, neener. So if you're not good at light source, be good at storytelling. Right, Deanna, you can always DM us. We will help you. And then we'll rope you into chatting for 10 minutes because you're so freaking funny and I adore you. Deanna has very little filter once you get to know her, and she's hilarious, and she tells it like it is, and she's a very honest and upfront person, and I very much value that. Yeah. I've done videos on light source, but sometimes I feel like when you get too persnippety about coloring, it takes the fun out of it. So I try not to focus on light source too awful much because it's really intimidating to a lot of people. So do what feels right. Do what works for you. And if light source is causing you stress and anxiety, throw it out the window. Don't worry about it. The point is to color and have fun. Yeah, and you can always go back and check out our videos. There's a couple ways to do that. Number one, you can go to our YouTube. Just go to youtube.com and search for Sweet Sentiment. And our videos are like all over. There's a ton of them. Number two, you can go to this group. At the top, you can click on Media. And you can click on Videos. And it will take you to every video that is posted in the group. Above and beyond that, we have another group that is just called Sweet Sentiment Stamps. It's a private group, so you have to ask to join it. We don't do a lot in that group anymore, but there is some old videos in there that is the reason we've left the group up. Okay. Yeah, I don't always follow exact light source either. I mean, I have a fairly good handle of light source, obviously, but sometimes I just color for the love of coloring, and I leave the light source stuff to the art majors because I just want to have fun and I just want to color and I don't want to think about it. Coloring is supposed to relieve stress, not cause stress. So, like I said, if it's all causing you stress, then abandon the light source and just color for the fun of it. And then once you get more comfortable with coloring and you want to go back, then you can go back and revisit it. That's just how we grow. Sandy, you always go rogue. You go rogue on a lot of stuff. Now this is a super soft pink. And I'm telling you right now, this is about as pastel as I go. Can I do pastel? Yes. Do I prefer to do pastel? No. I like bold, bright colors. And Rogue Sandy. It's like Rogue One. And then I'm going to take my colorless blender and I'm just going to put a couple of brush strokes here in the brightest highlights to pull them forward some. Not too much, but just enough. All right. So do you guys approve of the soft pink dress? Hi, Linda's watching. Soft pink, soft purple. That's where we're at. Okay, so now I'm going to grab some greens. And honestly, I'm just going to grab a bunch of different greens. And I'm just going to kind of go along as I go. So I'm going to start with G09. And I'm going to color a couple of these leaves. So these are springtime leaves, and that's why I'm coloring them in greens. I'm not being super careful about where I'm laying the color down, because it's all going to kind of blend out. And like I said, I'm just going to use a bunch of different greens, so there's not going to be a whole lot of rhyme or reason to my color choice. You colored some fish yesterday. Because the less uniform my color choice is, the more variation in these leaves, and the more natural they're going to look. Linda colored some fishies. Fishies! It's a joke for us because we're coloring over 3,000 fish for the expos. So if you go to the expo and you do the Mega Make and Take, which is the Thursday night big, huge mega party, we have a project in the Mega Make and Take. And so Sandy's going to teach a project, and that project involves a colored fish. And so we don't like to color and then photocopy and send it to y'all that way. So we are, see, this is why we color with both caps off. I knew it was going to happen. So we hand color everything. How cool is that? Just gonna wash some of that green out of there. Good thing it was a light green. You practice coloring fish. Okay, so I'm gonna grab YG67. And let's do this one right here. Right? Proud daughter moment. Mama's coloring some fishies. About time you're putting those Copic markers to use, Linda Lou. Okay. All right, so now we're gonna grab, let's see, how about YG45? I actually have 2 of these markers, and woo, buddy, is this one juicy. And then see how pretty it is? I know, right? It did take quite a while to get her on board. See how cool this looks when you vary the colors of green and you don't use the same green over and over and over again? At least I think it looks really cool. And it adds so much depth and dimension. When your leaves are a bunch of different colors. Does anyone live where there's a bunch of oak trees? Where's my Northern California girls at? No, that was YG45. I mean, I'm probably going to use 41. Hi, Trina. Hello, hello. Well, now that you said it, Sandy, I have to use it. YG41 coming up right here. It's such a minty color, a soft, like pistachio kind of color. Okay. Now I have this big leaf out front, and I want to use G82. I wouldn't call G82 my favorite, but it is such a beautiful green. I really like it. So look at all those cool colors in those leaves. Look at how beautiful they are. It's becoming one of your favorites. Okay, so I'm not going to pay attention to the acorns, but I am going to add this little green stem just in case it shows. But I'm going to be putting flowers over the top of those, so there will be no acorn coloring today. Okay, so here's all of our greens. I'm going to move them aside, and I do put the Copic list in the you know, the the YouTube video. Yes, I did see that you got the YG41 in with your BGs last night. In with the BGs. Staying alive. Okay, so I'm going to add some little striations to her wings because I kind of want them to look like leaves. It's her natural camouflage. Really light hand with this. Okay. Ouch. And then I'm going to use my G40 to soften these up some. And yes, I'm just coloring right over that dark hair. Nice light brush strokes. Okay. Now I'm going to go back in and color her eyes, and honestly, since her eyes are so tiny, I'm just going to use one of the greens I already used. I'm going to put green in her eyes, like that, just a little dot, and then I'm going to use, hi Leah, I have all kinds of fun stuff. So I'm going to use my multiliner. My words are like really, really hard for me today. Thanks, Trina. And I'm going to come in and trace around her eye and add a pupil. Trace around this eye and add a pupil. And then I'm going to add a couple more eyelashes here, just for funsies. Okay. No, Cheryl, I did not. This is my Pear Blossom Press gel pen. And I'm going to add a little highlight to her eye. And then I'm going to add some more striations to her wings. Did you sleep in, Cheryl? Thanks, Linda Lou. Leah's trying to get better. She's been sick. And then I take my glitter pin, and I always touch the glitter so that it's not like a perfect straight line in there. So that she has sparkly wings. All right. So you can add some glitter highlights to a couple of these leaves too if you want. Just adds to the magical feel. Okay. Oh, you have your nurse come in every morning, so you're not allowed to sleep in? Okay, so now I'm going to zoom out for you guys. Ooh, wrong way. And we're going to do a tiny bit of a background. Don't be afraid. Don't be scared. But I want to give her, I want to ground her so she's not just floating out here in the middle of nowhere. So I'm going to start with my E41. And I'm just going to kind of rough in a background. And I'm going to have her like hanging out in the trees. So I'm just going to kind of rough in a tree branch. Like that. And then another one. Okay, so I have a couple of tree branches, and then as I go to color this in, I'm gonna, you know, add some more movement and stuff to it, more little branches and twigs and that sort of thing. I am, however, gonna start by coloring the background blue because this is obviously somewhere in the sky. So I'm going to grab my B00. I'm going to use the chisel nib. And I'm just going to go across this with this really light blue. And it doesn't have to be perfect because we're going to cover this in leaves and stuff. So I'm not overtly worried about my full saturation or full coverage here. Okay, then I'm going to use my B00 under this one. Be careful around her hair that you don't drag that dark color out. Okay. And then I'm going to get a little bit darker with my B00. Hi, Janet. Thank you. Oops, I want the chisel end. Okay, there we go. So now I'm going to pull out some colors to do my tree branches, and I'm going to start with something like E77. And I'm going to do the bottom parts of the branches. And again, I'm just going to use brush strokes to kind of create that texture in the bark. And I am going to go right through her wing, but I'm going to color the wing again on top of this. So don't worry too much about it. It'll disappear a little bit and then it'll come back. We're going to run a little bit longer than our hour today because this is a more complex image to color and I wanted to do a full card. So apologies for running long, but sorry, not sorry. Okay, then I'm going to grab E25. Same thing, just going to come along. Try not to color in her ear or color in her hair. You guys, we got like 3 inches of snow last night, and I'm very unhappy about that. I'm a summer girl. I like summer, and so all this snow, not my friend. I know Julie got snow last night too. Did anybody else get snow? I know Leah did. Cheryl, did you get snow up there? I hate the cold. I am with you. I'm so over being cold. E55 is my next. Now, my theory behind coloring backgrounds is that you purposely want to be a little bit vague. So I don't spend a lot of time putting a whole bunch of details into backgrounds because I want the fairy to be the star of the show. So I'm purposely being slightly vague on the backgrounds and not doing a ton of stuff because I want this fairy to have the spotlight, to be the center of attention. So I'm going to continue coloring in this tree. Thanks, Holly. And I'm going to put a little bit more texture up here. Okay. Hopefully I'm on the screen for you guys. Again, I'm going to color right through her wings because they're transparent. And then I'll show you in a minute what I'm going to do to bring them back out front. Take my E25, add a little bit of bark up here to the top. Put the correct cap on it. Okay. It's warm in Arizona, right, Nancy? It's where we all need to go. So then I'm going to add some branches, twigs, and that's why we take both caps off. Sometimes you think you can get away with not taking both caps off, and every time the Copic gods tell you, no, it's not a thing. You have to take both caps off. And that was the Copic gods reminding me. That I need to simmer down. Get back in my lane and take both caps off when I color. So as you can tell, I just arbitrarily add these little branches. Wherever I think they need to go. Now comes the fun part. So first off, I'm going to go back to my G40. And I'm going to add this over the top of that brown. Just to bring the green back to the foreground. And see how it washes out that brown and makes her wing look like it's in front of the branch? Okay, now I'm just gonna kind of like scribble in some leaves. I'm not gonna be like super persnippety about it. I'm just gonna kind of try to make them look like oak leaves a little bit. And I'm not going to do like a ton of them. I just want the idea. And I'm a terrible, terrible artist. I cannot draw to save my life. So don't judge me. The other thing you can do is there is leaves in this set. And let me cap my marker and show you. I might actually do both, is draw some leaves and stamp some leaves. But let me go grab a couple of inks and show you that, hi, I'm terrible at trees. I just grabbed some distress inks and I'm not even using a block. So I'm just gonna take this and I'm just gonna stamp it. So, and then, I mean, you can color these in if you want. You can leave them like they are. You can, I mean, whatever tickles your fancy here. That one was peeled paint. And then I'm going to add a brighter green, so I'm going to do mowed lawn. And actually, I'm going to grab the other leaf too. Thanks, Natalie. Oops, see? I do bad things. Okay, so I've added a whole bunch of leaves. And then I'm gonna go in with my marker and I'm gonna just fill some of them in. So there's lots of different ways you can achieve this background. You don't have to be an artist. As you guys see, I cannot draw. I am not an artist by any stretch of the imagination. All right, I'm fingerprinted. And it just adds a lot of texture, a lot of fun. You don't have to be super precise. So this is a great way to do backgrounds if you're afraid of backgrounds, because it'll really get your feet wet and get the mojo going as far as, you know, not having to draw things and not having to be uber precise on anything. This is the only time I can like messy craft. Because it's a tree, man. At the end of the day, it's a tree. And Mother Nature makes things perfectly imperfect. There we go. Oops. Okay. So now, what we're gonna do is, I gotta find my card pieces again, because I've since thrown those aside. And we're gonna take our Barely Arts glue, and we're gonna glue the card front to the mat. If I can pick it up. So you have a second to manipulate the paper because we're using Barely Art glue. And then I use my espresso. And then I like to like flex my card to make sure that it's nice and flexible. I don't know what other word to use there, so flexible it is. Okay. Then I'm going to add this to my card base. And again, I'm going to pick it up. And then you guys know I like to decorate the inside of my card. And so I'll take these leaves. And I'll just stamp a couple on the inside. So that it's decorated. And then I always stamp the back of my card. So when I stamp this, I'll take this leaf and whatever ink is left on here. There we go. Okay, so now, thanks, Holly. So now what I'm gonna do is, so you see these acorns that are hanging out here and have really no reason to hang out here. I'm gonna take some flowers and I'm gonna put flowers over it. Now the flowers I made are much too big, so I'm gonna pull out a couple of flowers here, and I have some pink. Ooh, this purple bud will go really well. I have like some antique pink ones that should look cool. I have this little white and pink one. That should be pretty. I have like a soft green and like an olive green. And maybe that. Oh, this is really cute. I'll use that one. Now you guys know I'm probably not going to use like 2/3 of the flowers that I set out, but that's okay. And I'm going to grab some leaves. And then, oh, thanks, Becky. So I'm going to start by deciding what I really do want to use. I'm just kind of looking at what's here. I think I'm going to start with this one. So I'm going to pull all of these little white pieces apart. Yes, you can cut them off, but I like to use them for texture. Just like that. Put a little bit of hot glue on it and pop it down there. Okay. Now I'm going to put in this bright pink one. Now, if you really want to be extra, and I know there's a lot of glitter girls here, you can take your little spongy from yesterday and you can put some glue on it. Just like that. And you can grab your flower. I mean, since she's a fairy and everything. Dip it in the glue, or in the glitter. And now you have a frosted flower. Yay! Yeah, definitely changed the season for her. She is definitely not a fall fairy now. Definitely not. Okay, I'm going to add this minty green one. Sorry that we're over time, but you know, sometimes when you want to put flowers on, it takes an extra long time, right? Look at how pretty those are when you frost them like that. So cute. I'm going to add a little more to this one because it needs extra. So cute. So this is just a way to show you guys that really your imagination is the only limit. You know, she's sitting here holding acorns, but we're definitely making her into a springtime fairy as opposed to a fall fairy. So your imagination is the only limit here, and you can take any stamp and turn it into whatever season you want to. Just by changing the colors, really. Aw, thanks, Deanna. So I'm just going to be sure to cover up the lines that are from those acorns. These are so pretty when they're frosted. Look at that. How cool. I mean, I've frosted them before. It's not like my first rodeo frosting a flower, but these antique ones are just extra stunning. Okay, and then I'm gonna add this last little bright pink one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep. I knew it. Look at how cute that is. So cute. To add the glitter to them. Aww. Thanks, Linda, and thank you, Trina. So sweet. It's my last little flower here. There, now she has this big bouquet of flowers. I'm going to grab a couple of leaves out of here. Just for funsies. Little bit of hot glue. And once I start adding flowers, oh my gosh. That's the end of it, guys. I just can't. I can't not. And then I'm going to say one more leaf. One more. Nope, I'm going to keep them uniform. Okay. Here's our last leaf. I forgot all about the fact that I was going to add a sentiment to this. Throw all of these back in here. I got all excited with the flowers and then forgot about the sentiment, so this card is sentiment free. I mean, I could stamp a sentiment on here, but I don't think I want to. I think I'm just gonna let it be. Yeah, I could put the sentiment inside, you're right. I absolutely could. Oh my gosh, block stamping scares me. But we're gonna do it. Because there ain't no way this thing's fitting in a Misty now. So we're gonna get all crazy here. You could, but it's not gonna be as glittery. It's just not as thick of a glitter. And so you're not gonna see. And also know that Wink of Stella will interact with your Copics and make them run. So, okay, are you guys ready? I'm gonna do some super scary super scary block stamping. The reason why block stamping is so scary is because you get one shot and that's it. That's all you get. Whew. Okay. I can. If this doesn't work, I can stamp on white paper and paste it in. But thankfully, my stamps are really high quality, so we're good. And then I'll take my glitter pen and I'll trace the word magic. There you go. Now it's all sparkly. So there's our card for the day. Thank you guys for, yeah, right, been there, done that. Thank you guys for spending an extra long time with me for this card. I think it was worth it. I hope you guys think it was worth it. I had a lot of fun this morning, so thanks for joining me. And I will post this video on our YouTube channel. Don't forget tonight at 10 p.m. Me too, Holly. Same. Don't forget tonight at 10 p.m. Central Time is Coloring with Sandy Ledoux. And every weekday. But we are human, so sometimes it won't be every weekday, but you know how that goes. And I will post a picture of this card. So thank you guys for joining me, and I will see you again tomorrow. Toodles!